What's going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel and yet another Ranger guide. So part 1 and part 2, we started off on basics and moved into combos, but this video here is honestly what's going to be the most important video for new Rangers. This advanced stuff that we're going to be going on to later in the video is the most important thing I've ever mastered playing this class. It's going to help you survive against every class. So go ahead and bear with me here and enjoy. Alright, so for this video, guys, we're going to be breaking it up into two different types of protections. We're going to be breaking it into Primary, which is the bow, and Awakening, which is the Cambusilian swords. And as we know, there's different types of protections, such as super armors and iframes, but we're going to be breaking it down into another layer, which is going to be kiting. We don't kite as much as archers do, but it's still a pivotal part of our gameplay, and it can be done really well once you're about 270 AP. Rangers can almost pretty much 100% use their bow for all their damage. Alright, so moving into the bow form, guys, there's going to be two different protections. That's going to be our iframe, which is explosive evasive shot, and that's going to be our most reliable iframe that we have. It lasts the longest, it can apply a really good stiffness on the person, and it can be double tapped to prolong the iframe. Next one we have is Call from Sky. I really don't recommend using this. There's actually a lot of Rangers out there that pretty much gave up on it unless you know for a fact you have an opening that's going to leave you protected during the duration of the kick and the landing. You do get stuck in the animation, so it's pretty predictable unless you go ahead and do your mouse movements, which let me go ahead and show that for you guys. The only way to make this a viable whatsoever is basically adding a mouse movement in where it kind of like changes up where you actually land. It's very minimal. I don't think that it's worth mastering, in my opinion. But food for thought if you do want to try to get every inch of gameplay you can out of the Ranger. Alright, so since we only have two CC protections on our bow form, we're going to be moving into kiting. Because honestly, there's a few classes that you can actually get away with this. There's Tamers and Strikers, most notably. They have a lot of limited movement, which basically allows us to predict their engages. They're not going to really come out with anything that's going to surprise you. As long as for Strikers, you keep about, I would say, maybe about this range. That's going to keep you safe from a Striker, from any CCs that they drop on you. Maybe a little bit more. Yeah, you think about that, Crit? Yeah, I'd say about this distance for a Striker, which is plenty room to get shotguns in. Even at this distance, you can just pelter them with shotguns, keeping you safe from any of their CCs or engages. The next one's going to be Tamer. Tamer is in the same category. I would say just a little bit more because they do actually have some abilities that'll actually sneak up on you, especially with ping. I have about 200 ping, so you got to be careful with them. And then for every other class, you really got to play it by ear. There's a lot of really great classes out there like Warrior. Warrior got to keep about this distance as well for their solar flare that'll jump up on you. So a few different ways to kite, moving straight into it, is obviously going to be the Q spam. Q spam uses a ton of stamina. I only recommend it if you're trying to get that tiny little inch of health that someone might have left on them. But what Crit was actually just showing me, which is actually a super helpful thing I didn't know, is basically comboing a Q spam with a shotgun allows you to get reliable damage along with keeping yourself moving, because as you shotgun, you're also getting a little bit of pushback from the recoil of the shotgun. It actually prolongs your kiting because Q spam uses stamina, but shotgun uses mana. So it's kind of a combo to keep yourself going at least 2 to 3 times the distance. To demonstrate what we just covered, I'm going to show you the distance of Breezy Blade Rushing Wind without being affected. It's a good bit of distance. Can close about this distance there. But now we're going to go ahead and show it as being taken on, like taking on shotguns, to show you the distance that's less traveled. We're nearly stopped at our feet. So again, that doesn't quite work as much on certain abilities, but things like Rushing Wind, it will almost stop characters in their tracks. So once you've mastered your bow abilities and you feel like you're sufficiently skilled at getting out of the gap that other classes can CC you with, you can go ahead and safely use movement speeds like your wind step and stuff like that. But if you're getting pressured pretty heavily and you're having trouble maintaining stamina, there's a few different abilities you can use. One of them I think is best to spam is going to be this. It's going to be Explosive Evasive Shot over and over again. It uses only mana, and if that doesn't work, you can also use Waltz of the Wind to get yourself out of the danger zone if you're completely out of mana and you really can't get any more movement in. And little cherry on top for Waltz of the Wind, there's a lot of abilities like Wind Step that if you dash, you get stuck in animation, and that's going to get you killed in Node Wars. But if you use an ability like Waltz of the Wind, it negates that, and you can be back in the fight. Couple grass beetles over there. All right. So moving away from the primary, we're going to be going into the Awakening. And Crit said it best, the bow form, the way to survive in it is through movement and distance, maintaining that gap and keeping out of their CCs and long range abilities. Moving into the Awakening is so much more about timing and patience. So a lot of the abilities we have with Super Armor in our Awakening form can be held during the animation to prolong the amount of CC protection we actually have. So the best examples of this are going to be Breezy Blade and Rushing Wind. And it's a little bit difficult to get the timing down, so the best way to practice this is actually by trying to use a shotgun at the end. So if you wait a little bit too long and you hit spacebar, you're going to jump. But there's a sweet spot where if you hold the animation just long enough, you can shotgun at the end. And the entire time up until shotgunning, you are protected through Super Armor. And this can be done with both Breezy Blade and Rushing Wind to get the maximum amount of time protected from CCs.
If you have ever taken Taekwondo or Karate or boxing, you learn something called forms, which are basically combos in life. You use pieces of them together in real fights, but you never use them. But they're still a really useful tool to understand and practice what you have available. So for Ranger, we have a sort of protected combo that I'm about to show you. And we're going to test whether it's effective or not by using a skill called Fury Arrow. If you would demonstrate it, it knocks back, as shown there. And it knocks back on every single hit. So what Arktac's going to do is he's going to shoot me constantly. And if I'm unprotected, even for a brief moment, I'm going to get CC'd. But this rotation allows me to stay in either Super Armor or iframe for a very long time, which I will now show. So now I will start, and Arktac's going to start shooting. So I'm actually in Super Armor or iframe for all of these moments. Even now, even now, even now, even now, even now. And I'm still in Super Armor. And finally it runs out, right as my hands go down. So it lasts an extremely good time, and it's a really good demonstration of how protected Ranger can be while staying safe.
Go. Perfect. So huge shout out to Crit. He is considered one of the top NA Rangers, so I got to thank for some of his time here. What's kind of funny to say is that when he first came over from the Korean servers to American, he actually kind of got back into the game through my videos. Isn't that right?
Yeah. So I played in Korea for a while, and then I took a 2-year break from the game. So how's that? And when I came back to the game, I saw all these fancy swords. I was like, what the hell has Ranger turned into? I didn't know what to do. All right, guide is crap, this guide is crap, this guide is crap. Oh, shit, this is actually useful. And that's how I met Arktac.
So through all the crap, he found some pretty good information. And it's funny, man, after 9,000 hours of casual play, Critical has just skyrocketed to top NA Ranger. And I'm, to this day, rewatching his videos like 6 times in a row. So definitely check out his videos, but we're gonna go ahead and move straight. So that is it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I do have a few more videos I'm trying to create. One of them is gonna be like tips and tricks for skill cancels and I'm still trying to do the dueling video. It's a little bit tough with my ping and my time zone because I'm trying to find really good people to go up against, but it's becoming really difficult to show exactly what I'm demonstrating. I'm still mastering Ranger myself, even after 9,000 hours of casual play. There's a lot to master and there's a lot to take in. It's a pretty in-depth class. So that being said, whatever content I do push out for you guys, I want it to be to the best of my ability and make sure that you guys are actually going to get a lot from it. So stick around, there's going to be more videos to come, and hopefully I'll see you guys then.